give us some energy. Is that cool? Let's give him some good energy. Let's make some way for Dan. Come on, Dan.
Good evening. Well, I got an anniversary 50 years ago this month. It was a very important day in my life. No, I'm sorry, it's 55 years ago this month. It was a very important day in my life, but it's kind of a private thing, so I'm going to tell you about it. Okay, so anyway, June 19th, 1965, General Granger issued the General Order number 3. Well, of course it's General Order, he's the general. He was in Galveston and he made this announcement that all the slaves in Texas were free. Now, I read somewhere that a lot of those slaves had already heard the news about Lee's surrender, but, you know, Lee's surrender wasn't exactly the end of the war. The last Confederate soldier to surrender was some Indian chief in Oklahoma, which was, I think it was like the next month or whatever, after Juneteenth. It was in July. So. But anyway, this turned out to be a wonderful day for a lot of people, not just in Texas, but overall. I mean, General Granger was basically telling everybody, I'm here to lay down the law, and the law is that the slaves are free now. And, of course, a lot of these people thought, what does that mean? I mean, people who were born into slavery had no idea what freedom meant. You know, people who were captured in Africa and dragged over here had no idea what freedom meant. And Texas didn't even exist when the United States stopped importing slaves. I mean, that was still Mexico. I mean, Texas wasn't even a republic until 1836 and didn't become a state until later, and then, you know, it's part of the Confederacy, and then, you know, once the Civil War was over, Granger said, hey, I am going to lay down the law. Of course, he was from New York, so he didn't talk like that. But, so, people wondered, what's next? What's going to go on? What's freedom? Freedom, what does that even mean? That means you can't go nowhere. You can be sharecroppers. You ain't even be slaves anymore. You can be sharecroppers. But the white bosses, they didn't think that the slaves were going to be doctors and teachers and lawyers. They just thought they were going to be some other farmhands other than slaves. So, you know. But it was wonderful news. It was wonderful news. Freedom. And it caused me to wonder, all these years later, caused me to wonder, if they didn't know what freedom was to begin with, if they'd been born into slavery to begin with, I wonder what their dreams were. Did they dream of owning a piece of land by themselves? Did they dream of doing something else besides working in the fields? Did they dream of getting out of the South? There are people who were never out of the South to begin with, had no idea that the rest of the, you know, that there's places up north that had, you know, snow and you know, Did they dream of making their own kingdom? Did they dream of being able to vote? They had no idea what voting was because none of them had ever been able to do it. Because it was always the white owners, and there were some Indian owners too, who was always making decisions for them. Before the war, during the war, and now here's this white guy who comes in and says, "You're free." And they say, "Oh, okay. So what are you going to do for me now?" So Juneteenth is not the end of the Civil War, but you can look at it as kind of the beginning of the further development of the United States and further development on the history of black people in America. It's like, what's next? And Texas, of course, was not allowed to become part of the United States again until they ratified the 13th Amendment. And that was true of all the Confederate states. It's like, well, you know, not only did we have this proclamation that took effect January 1st, 1863, not only did they have this Emancipation Proclamation, but now we've got a constitutional amendment that says that there isn't going to be any slavery, so all the states individually had to vote to approve that. So, what was the next step? What happened next? What did the slaves look forward to? What did the slaves dream? Did they think it was going to be a good idea? Yeah. Well, you know, white settlers in Kentucky, I think they might have gotten 40 acres and a mule. You know, the veterans, Union veterans, I think, could have got 40 acres and a mule somewhere. I don't know where, somewhere. Maybe some of the Confederate guys might have been able to get 40 acres and a mule somewhere. But one of the things that the United States government did is they chased the Indians out of Oklahoma so they could give the land away to white settlers. Just like they chased the Indians out of the Carolinas under Andrew Jackson to give the land to white settlers. But what was the dream? Maybe there were more than one dream. Some of the older slaves, did they imagine that one day they'd be able to go back to Africa and live their former life, whatever that was like? Wonder. A day of wonder. I wonder these people 160 years ago, what were their dreams? And what would they think about today?
I am their dreams.
Yes, you are their dream. Yes, you are their dream. You are their great, 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 great dream. Yeah. So, anyway, something to think about on June 19th.